Welcome to this peaceful night. Wherever you are, in your room, in your bed, or in the quiet of your thoughts, this is a moment made just for you. The day has ended, and whatever happened, whatever didn't, whatever felt unfinished, can now rest. You've done enough, you've tried enough, and now it's time to breathe again. This is not just another night. It's an invitation to peace, a reminder that even in the stillness, God is near. Jesus said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." That promise wasn't only for the people who heard him then. It's for you, right now, in this very moment. You don't have to be perfect to receive his peace. You don't need perfect faith or perfect words. You only need an open heart. He's not asking you to perform, but to rest. Tonight is about letting his presence surround you like gentle light, about remembering that peace is not something you create, it's something you allow. Maybe your mind has been busy today. Maybe you've been thinking too much or feeling too much. Maybe you've been trying to hold things together while quietly wishing someone would hold you. Jesus understands that. He knows how it feels to be tired in spirit and heavy in heart. That's why he says, "Come to me, right now." Just take a deep breath. Let the air move through your body. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel your mind begin to slow. This moment is holy because you're letting God in. He's been waiting all along, patiently, quietly, lovingly. Tonight, as you listen, you'll hear reflections, prayers, and words from the Psalms, each one meant to lead you a little closer to stillness. Between them, there will be silence, gentle space where your soul can rest. Don't rush those moments. Let them wash over you like calm waves. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. You are deeply loved by the one who holds the stars and still remembers your name. So let this night be simple. Let it be quiet. Let it be the beginning of rest. Close your eyes if you want, and let everything else fade away. Peace is here, and Jesus is with you. Now that the noise of the day has faded, imagine yourself surrounded by calm. You are sitting beneath a sky full of stars. The air is cool, gentle, and still. The world feels like it's finally exhaling. And in that quiet, you feel a warmth approaching, steady and alive. It's the kind of peace that doesn't come from within you, but from someone who loves you beyond understanding. You look toward that light, and there he is, Jesus. He walks toward you slowly, not as a stranger, but as someone who knows you. His steps make no sound, yet you can feel his presence move closer with each breath. His face is calm, his eyes full of compassion, and his presence fills the space around you with love. You can sense that he knows everything you've been carrying, every thought you've tried to silence, every pain you didn't have words for. He doesn't need you to explain. He already understands. He comes near and sits beside you. No words are needed. The air feels softer, lighter. You realize that this silence is not empty, it's sacred. It's filled with everything you've been needing to hear without a single word being spoken. After a few moments, his voice comes quietly. I am here. That's all he says. And yet those words sink into the deepest part of your heart. You realize you've been waiting for them without even knowing it. I am here. Not far away, not out of reach, not lost in some distant heaven. Here, with you. You close your eyes again, and the peace becomes tangible. The light around you is warm, like a gentle embrace. The tension that lived in your chest begins to melt away. You don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to keep pretending to be strong. The presence of Jesus is strength enough for both of you. He looks at you again, and this time you sense what he's saying without words. It's as if his eyes tell you, you don't need to fix everything tonight. You just need to rest in me. So you do. You let your body relax. You let your thoughts settle. You let his peace fill the room, soft and steady, like light spilling into darkness. This is what it means to rest in his presence, to stop searching for answers and simply be held, to stop running toward peace and realize peace has already found you. Jesus is here. He always has been, and in his presence, your heart can finally rest. I will lie down and sleep in peace. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. Those words from Psalm 4:8 are more than poetry. They are a promise, a truth that reaches through centuries and still speaks to your heart tonight. When David wrote them, he wasn't in a moment of calm. He was surrounded by conflict, yet he declared peace. He chose trust instead of fear. That is the same choice offered to you right now, to rest, even when life isn't perfect, because God is still faithful. You might not know what tomorrow will bring. You might still feel the weight of things that are unresolved, but peace is not waiting for the perfect moment. It's available now, in this quiet space, in this gentle night, in the presence of Jesus. He is the same Lord who guided David through darkness, and he's the same one watching over you as you prepare to sleep. You are not sleeping alone. The same voice that spoke light into creation is speaking peace over you now. He keeps watch while you rest. He guards your heart when your eyes are closed. Maybe your body is tired, but your mind keeps running. Let this be the moment you stop fighting for control. Let God take the night shift. Whisper to him in your heart, Lord, I trust you. I give you this day, this night, and everything I cannot fix. Be my peace. Those simple words are enough. You don't have to fall asleep trying to make sense of everything. You can fall asleep trusting that he already has. Jesus holds your future, your past, and your right now in his hands. Even as you breathe, his love is surrounding you. His peace is anchoring you. His grace is healing what your mind cannot. So as you lie down tonight, remember this: you are safe, you are loved, and you are being watched over by a love that never sleeps. Let your heart slow down. Let your body grow heavy with rest. Let your soul exhale, for God is near, and you are safe in Him. There comes a time in every night when the world begins to quiet itself. The sounds fade, the lights soften, and suddenly it is just you and your thoughts. Sometimes those thoughts can feel heavier than the silence that surrounds you. You replay conversations, you wonder about tomorrow. You think of what you could have done differently, or what still needs to be done. It feels endless. But here, in this sacred space, I want you to know something simple that has the power to change the way you end your day. You do not have to hold everything together anymore. You were never meant to. Take a deep breath. Let it fill your lungs completely. And as you exhale, imagine all the noise inside you beginning to fade. Let it drift away as if carried by the wind. Every breath you take is a reminder that life does not depend on your effort alone. It depends on grace. It depends on the steady, gentle hand of God that has never stopped guiding you, even when you could not see it. Close your eyes for a moment and picture this. You are standing at the edge of a quiet river at night. The moon is reflected on the surface of the water, and the air is cool, clean, and calm. The rhythm of the river feels steady, like the heartbeat of creation itself. You can feel a deep sense of peace washing over you even before you understand why. And then, in that stillness, you notice a figure standing a few steps away. You recognize him instantly. It is Jesus. He is not speaking yet. He does not need to. His presence is enough. There is something about him that silences everything else. Every racing thought, every hidden fear, every question that has been weighing on your heart. He looks at you, not with judgment, not with disappointment, but with a love that feels infinite, ancient, and familiar. It is the kind of love that has always known you. He gestures gently, inviting you closer. You walk toward him slowly, the ground soft beneath your feet. When you reach him, he simply says, "Give it to me." You know what he means. He is not asking for your strength or your perfection. He is asking for the things that have been breaking you from the inside out, the things you have been trying to control, the people you have been trying to fix, the outcomes you have been trying to predict, all the things that have kept you from resting. For a moment you hesitate. Part of you wants to hold on, to stay in control, because letting go can feel like falling. But then you remember, Jesus never lets anyone fall into emptiness. When you let go, you fall into his arms. And so, you open your hands. You start to release things one by one. The worry about the future, the regret from the past, the pressure to be strong, the need to have all the answers. Each one leaves your hands and disappears into his light. You feel lighter with every release. When you finally look up, you notice that he is still there, smiling softly, as if to say, "Now you can rest." He does not take away your responsibilities or erase every challenge, but he takes away the illusion that you were ever supposed to carry them alone. You realize that faith is not about control. It is about trust. It is about surrendering what you cannot fix to the one who already holds the solution. Jesus places his hand over your heart, and you feel warmth spreading through your chest. It is not a warmth you can explain. It feels like peace becoming real, like love becoming physical. You realize that for the first time in a long time, your heart is not racing. It is steady, calm, held. You can almost hear his voice now, gentle, deep, full of compassion. You have tried to do so much on your own, he says, but you do not have to anymore. Rest in me. Let me take care of what you cannot. Let me fight the battles you were never meant to fight alone. I have seen every tear, every sleepless night, every silent prayer. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. You are mine. You breathe in again, and something inside you shifts. The walls you have built to protect yourself begin to fall, not in pain, but in relief. Because for the first time, you understand that you do not need to protect yourself from the one who protects everything that matters. You do not need to have all the answers. You do not even need to be okay. You just need to be willing to let him in. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means trusting that even in the quiet, God is still moving. It means believing that just because you do not see change does not mean there is no growth. Seeds grow in the dark, so does faith. You look at the river again. The water is moving slowly, reflecting the moonlight like silver threads across the surface. You hear Jesus say softly, "This is what your heart looks like when you let me lead." Calm, peaceful, flowing in rhythm with my will. His words are like music, each one carrying a sense of release and renewal. You feel tears on your face, not from sadness, but from relief. The kind of relief that comes when you realize you have been fighting for peace, when peace has been reaching for you all along. Jesus walks a little closer to the river and places his hand on the surface. The ripples spread out, shining in the moonlight. Then he turns back to you and says, "When you sleep tonight, I will still be working. While your mind rests, I will be healing what you cannot see. I will be guiding what you cannot control. I will be speaking to your spirit in ways your thoughts cannot hear. You only need to rest." Close your eyes, and those words echo inside of you like a song that never ends. You think about all the nights when you tried to find peace in your own strength, and all the times you forgot that peace was never something you had to earn. It was always a gift. It was always him. As you stand there, you feel the light of his presence surrounding you completely. The warmth reaches your hands, your face, your chest, and finally, your soul. The fear that once felt so big now feels small in comparison to his love. The anxiety that once felt endless now feels temporary. Every weight, every tension, every worry is replaced with one simple truth. He is here, and that is enough. You open your eyes again and look at Jesus. He is still there, smiling softly, his eyes full of love that does not fade. "Let go," he says one more time. "Trust me, I have got you." You take one more slow breath and whisper quietly, "I trust you, Lord." Those words feel like an exhale after years of holding your breath. You do not need to know what tomorrow holds. You only need to know who holds you. Jesus begins to walk back into the light, and as he does, the river begins to glow faintly, reflecting his peace. You can still hear his voice, soft and calm, lingering in the night. "Do not be afraid. I am with you, always." As you stand there, surrounded by silence, your body begins to relax completely. The tension drains away from your shoulders, your breath becomes smooth, and your thoughts slow down until they match the rhythm of peace itself. You realize that what you are feeling right now is not the absence of noise, it is the presence of Jesus. It is his spirit calming the waves of your heart, his love anchoring you in the storm, his hands holding everything that you once thought was falling apart. And now, as the night continues, you let yourself rest in that presence. You allow your soul to be quiet. You allow your mind to trust. Because you finally understand that surrender is not losing control. It is returning control to the only one who ever had it. You can rest now. You can sleep deeply. You can breathe freely. Because Jesus is near. His peace is real. And while you close your eyes, he will keep watch over you. He always does. There is a moment in every night when darkness feels most complete, when everything is still and the world seems to be holding its breath. In that quiet, it is easy to feel small, easy to remember all the things that are uncertain or fragile. Yet it is also in that same stillness where the deepest kind of peace can be found. The peace that does not come from the world, but from knowing that you are not alone. God is watching over you. His presence fills even the silence. His protection is stronger than any fear that could visit you in the night. The psalmist once wrote, "He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust." Those words from Psalm 91 are more than poetry. They are a promise, a declaration that in the middle of darkness, you are covered by light. You are surrounded by the love of a God who does not sleep. He never closes his eyes or turns away. He keeps watch while you rest. Think for a moment about what it means to dwell in the shadow of the Almighty. Shadows are created when light is near. So even in the moments when you feel like life is dim or uncertain, His light is close enough to cover you. When the world around you fades into quiet darkness, the presence of Jesus shines from within. You are never outside of His reach. The same God who spoke galaxies into being is now standing beside your bed, not distant, not untouchable, but close, personal, loving, and protective. Imagine this. You are lying down to rest. The world outside is asleep. The streets are empty. The air is still. Yet in the unseen realm, heaven is awake. The angels of God stand watch, their attention fixed on the ones he loves. The room feels ordinary, but it isn't. It is sacred ground because Jesus is there. His spirit fills the air around you, wrapping your body and soul in the warmth of divine care. Every breath you take is watched over. Every heartbeat is counted. Nothing about you escapes his notice. You may have gone through many nights where worry kept you awake, when you replayed conversations or imagined what could go wrong. But tonight is different. Tonight, you are learning what it means to truly rest under his wings, to let him be your refuge instead of your racing thoughts. You do not have to analyze everything before sleep. You do not have to make sense of every unanswered question. You can simply rest because he is God and you are his. As you breathe, let those words become part of you. My God, in him will I trust. Say it quietly inside your heart until it begins to settle like a soft echo. My God, in him will I trust. This is not blind faith. This is truth that has been proven through every generation. God has never failed to protect those who trust him. Even when danger seemed close, even when fear whispered through the dark, his love remained a shield. His presence remained a fortress. Jesus understands what it means to feel fragile in the night. He too spent nights alone in prayer under the stars while the world slept. He knows what it means to be human, to feel the weight of uncertainty. Yet he also knows the peace that comes from absolute trust in the Father. That same peace now belongs to you. He is offering it freely, right here, right now. You only need to receive it. Imagine that you are lying down, your eyes gently closing. The worries of the day are still nearby, but they no longer have power over you. You picture yourself surrounded by light. It is not harsh or distant, but warm and steady, like sunlight that never fades. You realize it is not just light, it is his presence, the presence of Jesus Christ, who promised, I am with you always. As you breathe in, picture his peace, filling your chest, your lungs, your body. As you exhale, feel the tension leaving you completely. With every breath, your heart becomes quieter. With every breath, his peace becomes deeper. You do not have to control this peace. You simply allow it. It flows naturally because it comes from him. If you could see what God sees, you would realize that even in your most vulnerable moments, you are completely protected. There are angels assigned to you, not because you earned it, but because you are loved. You are precious to the Creator, and he guards what is precious. His love is not passive. It moves, it surrounds, it defends. Maybe there have been nights when fear visited you. Maybe you have felt the weight of anxiety pressing against your chest. But every fear loses its strength when you remember whose you are. You belong to the one who spoke to the wind and said, "Peace, be still." You belong to the one who walked on water to reach his children in the storm. You belong to the one who conquered death itself. If he has overcome all things, then what could possibly stand against his protection? Sometimes his protection looks like strength. Other times it looks like rest. Tonight, it looks like stillness. The kind of stillness that lets you know he is near. You are wrapped in his care. Nothing can separate you from his love. No fear can rise above his name. No darkness can hide you from his light. The peace of Christ is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is not something that depends on your emotions or on how well life is going. It is constant, unshakable, eternal. It flows through your spirit like a quiet river that never runs dry. You may not always feel it, but it is always there. Even in moments when you cannot sense it, his presence has not left. His peace has not vanished. Take another slow breath. Let your body sink into the stillness of this night. Feel the softness of the pillow beneath your head, the gentle rhythm of your breathing, the calm that is beginning to take over. Every muscle, every thought, every heartbeat begins to slow down in the safety of his presence. Now, imagine that you are in his hands. You can see them in your mind, strong yet gentle, large enough to hold the universe, yet tender enough to hold you. Nothing that worries you is bigger than those hands. Nothing that threatens you can slip through his fingers. You are safe there, completely safe. Jesus looks at you with kindness, and you sense him speaking again, softly, tenderly. Do not be afraid. You are under my care. While you rest, I will keep watch. While you sleep, I will work. You do not need to fight tonight. You do not need to plan. You only need to be still. His words are simple, but they carry the weight of heaven itself. You believe him, not because you have seen what tomorrow will look like, but because you know who he is. His voice carries truth, and that truth brings peace. So tonight, let yourself rest without resistance. Let yourself believe that you are guarded by the same God who moves oceans, who commands angels, who calls the stars by name. There is nothing random about his care for you. Every breath you take is watched by his love. Every moment of your rest is protected by his power. If your mind tries to wander, gently bring it back to this truth. You are under his wings. You are in his hands. You are surrounded by his peace. Whisper this prayer quietly before you sleep. Lord Jesus, I thank you for your protection. I thank you for covering me tonight with your peace. I trust you with my life, my mind, and my dreams. Guard me while I sleep. Heal what I cannot see. Fill this room with your presence. Let me rest in the safety of your love. And as you finish that prayer, imagine the light of his presence growing brighter, not around you, but within you. It glows softly in your spirit, pushing away fear, replacing it with calm. You feel yourself beginning to drift into rest, not just physical rest, but spiritual rest, the kind that goes beyond sleep, the kind that heals. Now, everything is still. The night is quiet. The world is at peace. And in the silence, one truth remains. You are safe. You are loved. You are protected by the living God who never sleeps. Rest now in that truth. Rest in his hands. Rest in his peace. Rest in his everlasting care. Maybe there have been nights when fear visited you. Maybe you have felt the weight of anxiety pressing against your chest. But every fear loses its strength when you remember whose you are. You belong to the one who spoke to the wind and said, "Peace, be still." You belong to the one who walked on water to reach his children in the storm. You belong to the one who conquered death itself. If he has overcome all things, then what could possibly stand against his protection? Sometimes his protection looks like strength. Other times it looks like rest. Tonight, it looks like stillness. The kind of stillness that lets you know he is near. You are wrapped in his care. Nothing can separate you from his love. No fear can rise above his name. No darkness can hide you from his light. The peace of Christ is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is not something that depends on your emotions or on how well life is going. It is constant, unshakable, eternal. It flows through your spirit like a quiet river that never runs dry. You may not always feel it, but it is always there. Even in moments when you cannot sense it, his presence has not left. His peace has not vanished. Take another slow breath. Let your body sink into the stillness of this night. Feel the softness of the pillow beneath your head, the gentle rhythm of your breathing, the calm that is beginning to take over. Every muscle, every thought, every heartbeat begins to slow down in the safety of his presence. Now, imagine that you are in his hands. You can see them in your mind, strong yet gentle, large enough to hold the universe, yet tender enough to hold you. Nothing that worries you is bigger than those hands. Nothing that threatens you can slip through his fingers. You are safe there, completely safe. Jesus looks at you with kindness, and you sense him speaking again, softly, tenderly. Do not be afraid. You are under my care. While you rest, I will keep watch. While you sleep, I will work. You do not need to fight tonight. You do not need to plan. You only need to be still. His words are simple, but they carry the weight of heaven itself. You believe him, not because you have seen what tomorrow will look like, but because you know who he is. His voice carries truth, and that truth brings peace. So tonight, let yourself rest without resistance. Let yourself believe that you are guarded by the same God who moves oceans, who commands angels, who calls the stars by name. There is nothing random about his care for you. Every breath you take is watched by his love. Every moment of your rest is protected by his power. If your mind tries to wander, gently bring it back to this truth. You are under his wings. You are in his hands. You are surrounded by his peace. Whisper this prayer quietly before you sleep. Lord Jesus, I thank you for your protection. I thank you for covering me tonight with your peace. I trust you with my life, my mind, and my dreams. Guard me while I sleep. Heal what I cannot see. Fill this room with your presence. Let me rest in the safety of your love. And as you finish that prayer, imagine the light of his presence growing brighter, not around you, but within you. It glows softly in your spirit, pushing away fear, replacing it with calm. You feel yourself beginning to drift into rest, not just physical rest, but spiritual rest, the kind that goes beyond sleep, the kind that heals. Now, everything is still. The night is quiet. The world is at peace. And in the silence, one truth remains. You are safe. You are loved. You are protected by the living God who never sleeps. Rest now in that truth. Rest in His hands. Rest in His peace. Rest in His everlasting care. When you finally close your eyes at night, the world begins to fade into quiet. The noise, the expectations, the endless motion of the day, all dissolve into stillness. But even in that stillness, something beautiful continues to happen. God does not stop working just because you are resting. In fact, it is often in your rest that He begins to do His greatest work. There are parts of you that need healing, not just in your body, but in your spirit. Wounds that do not show on the surface, hurts that you may not even have words for. Some of them are old, hidden under layers of time, while others are recent and raw. You might have thought that they were too small for God to notice, or too deep for Him to reach. But Jesus sees them all, and tonight He wants to touch them with His love. As you lie here, allow yourself to imagine His presence filling the room. It is not a distant light, but a soft and living warmth, like the first light of morning slowly entering a quiet room. You can feel it in the air. You can sense it in your chest, in your breathing, in the gentle rhythm of your heart. Every breath you take becomes a prayer. Every exhale a release. There is nothing you have to force. There is nothing you have to do. Just let His love come closer. Jesus is not only your protector, He is your healer. His love is not limited by time or space. When He walked the earth, people touched the hem of His robe and were restored. His hands opened the eyes of the blind, calmed storms, and lifted the broken-hearted. That same presence is here with you now. The same voice that told the sick to rise and the weary to rest is whispering to your soul this very moment. You may have carried pain quietly for years. Maybe you learned to keep going even when something inside you was hurting. But the love of Jesus reaches into places that no human hand can touch. It goes where memories have built walls, where fears have taken root, where your own strength has run out. He does not rush or demand. He simply enters gently, like a healer who knows exactly where the pain lives. Let His love move through you. It is not an idea or a feeling. It is real. It moves like light through darkness, reaching every hidden space. You might feel it as warmth, as peace, or simply as quiet awareness. However it comes, it is enough. Let it reach the parts of you that are tired of pretending to be fine. Let it reach the places that long to be seen, forgiven, and free. Now imagine His hands over your heart. They are steady and kind. You can feel the energy of His love flowing into you, steady and soft, restoring what was lost. It is not dramatic. It is gentle, like a slow tide returning to the shore. Every heartbeat feels lighter. Every breath feels deeper. You can almost feel your soul expanding with peace. This is what healing feels like in the presence of Jesus. It is not always loud or instant. Sometimes it is quiet, unfolding slowly as you rest, unseen but unstoppable. You do not have to tell Him what hurts. He already knows. He is not here to ask questions or to remind you of the past. He is here to remind you that His love is greater than anything that has ever broken you. Think about how the body heals during sleep. When you close your eyes, your cells repair themselves, your muscles rebuild, and your mind resets. Now imagine that happening not just physically, but spiritually. Imagine your soul being restored in the same way. That is what the love of Jesus does. While you sleep, he mends the places you did not know were torn. He brings peace to thoughts that have been restless. He breathes new strength into your spirit, giving you the quiet courage to face tomorrow. If you have been feeling guilty or unworthy, let that go. You were never meant to carry the weight of your own healing. You are loved, not because of what you have done, but because of who he is. His love does not keep score. It does not measure worth by perfection. It heals by grace. It renews by mercy. It restores by kindness. You may have spent your life trying to fix yourself piece by piece, but tonight, you do not have to. Jesus can reach where your effort cannot. Healing begins, not with effort, but with surrender. So, let go. Let go of the need to understand every detail. Let go of the thought that you have to be strong all the time. Let go of the idea that healing must happen quickly or visibly. It is happening right now, in the quiet, beneath the surface, through the touch of his Spirit. Picture his light spreading across your body. It moves from your heart to your shoulders, down your arms, through your hands, and into every part of you that has carried tension or pain. You can feel the difference. The weight begins to lift. The breath becomes slower, deeper. You might whisper softly, "Jesus, thank you for healing me. Thank you for loving me when I could not love myself. Thank you for bringing peace to the places I tried to hide from you." As you say those words, you can feel his answer in the silence. It is not heard with the ears, but with the heart. His answer is simple. I never left you. I have always been healing you. Now imagine that you are lying on a soft field beneath a sky full of stars. The air is cool, and there is a gentle wind brushing against your face. You can hear the quiet hum of the night around you. It feels like everything is alive and resting at the same time. Above you, the stars shine, and you remember the words of Scripture that say, "He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds." That promise has always been true, and tonight it is true for you. There is no wound too deep for the love of Jesus, no memory too painful, no fear too strong. His light reaches the darkest places, not to expose you, but to free you. When he touches the places that hurt, it is not to bring pain, but to bring peace. You can trust his hands. They are the same hands that carried a cross, that reached out to sinners, that washed the feet of his friends, that broke bread for the hungry. Those same hands are over you tonight, blessing you, healing you, holding you. As the night continues, let your breathing stay slow and steady. Let your thoughts drift further into peace. Let yourself surrender completely to his love. You do not need to think about tomorrow or yesterday. You only need to rest in the moment that he has given you now. In the quiet, you can feel it clearly. His love is moving through you, slow and deep. It is fixing what was broken. It is calming what was afraid. It is softening what was hard. It is restoring what was lost. The work of God does not stop when your eyes close. It begins there. You are safe. You are loved. You are being healed even now. Rest in that truth. Rest in that love. Rest in Him. Peace is something everyone longs for, but few truly find. We look for it in comfort, in success, in the approval of others, in plans that we try so hard to control. But the kind of peace that lasts, the kind that stays even when life changes, does not come from what we hold. It comes from what we release. It comes from surrender. It comes from trusting Jesus so completely that even when you do not know what is ahead, you can still rest because you know who walks with you. Surrender is not weakness. It is the strongest act of faith. It means choosing trust when fear wants control. It means laying down the plans you thought you needed, the explanations you demanded, the outcomes you were trying to force, and saying, "Lord, let your will be done." There is a sacred kind of freedom in that sentence. It releases your heart from the burden of always having to figure everything out. It invites peace to take the place of pressure. Think about how often you have tried to hold life together with your own hands. The more you tried, the more it slipped away. That is because peace cannot be gripped. It must be received. Imagine for a moment that you are standing beside a calm ocean. The waves move gently, one after another, never in a rush, never out of rhythm. That is what life feels like when you are aligned with the will of God. Things still move, storms still come, but there is a flow, a divine timing that brings beauty even through the chaos. When you surrender, you begin to see life differently. You no longer see interruptions as failures. You start to recognize them as redirections. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start whispering, "Teach me." You begin to realize that everything that happens is either a lesson, a blessing, or a preparation for something greater that you cannot yet see. Jesus does not waste anything. Even what feels like a loss in your eyes can become a seed in His hands. As you lie here tonight, let those thoughts wash over you like a gentle tide. You do not have to have all the answers before you rest. You do not have to make peace happen. You simply have to allow it. True peace does not begin when everything is fixed. It begins when you stop trying to fix everything yourself. Maybe you have prayed for peace before and wondered why it never seemed to stay. Maybe it is because peace is not a thing you hold, but a place you dwell. It is found in the presence of Jesus. When your thoughts are centered on Him, when your heart is yielded to His love, peace becomes the natural atmosphere of your soul. You are no longer fighting against life. You are flowing with grace. Jesus showed us what perfect surrender looks like. On the night before His crucifixion, in the quiet of Gethsemane, He prayed, "Father, not my will, but yours be done." Those words were not easy, but they were powerful. They changed everything. They showed that peace is not the absence of pain, but the presence of trust. Even in the face of fear, Jesus chose faith. Even when He knew the cross was coming, He rested in the Father's plan. That same spirit of surrender can live in you tonight. Close your eyes and picture yourself in a quiet garden. The air smells of rain and earth. The sky above is still and heavy with stars. You can feel the weight of your thoughts pressing down, but then you begin to let them go. One by one, you release the worries, the disappointments, the unspoken hopes.
Each one floats away like a leaf carried off by a breeze. You can feel your shoulders dropping, your breath slowing, your heart softening. This is what surrender feels like. It is not losing control. It is finally resting in the hands of the one who never loses control. As you breathe in, imagine God's peace entering you. As you exhale, imagine everything you cannot change leaving you. Inhale faith, exhale fear, inhale love, exhale control. With each breath, you move closer to rest. You may not realize it, but this is prayer. You are not asking for anything specific. You are simply saying, God, I trust you. That is one of the purest prayers you can ever pray. It opens the door for His presence to fill every corner of your being. It invites Him to do what only He can do. Jesus once said, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives." That peace is not temporary or fragile. It does not depend on outcomes or emotions. It comes from knowing that whatever happens, you are loved and held by the hands of God. Nothing can take that away from you. Not people, not circumstances, not even your own doubts. Let that truth settle in your heart tonight. You are safe. You are loved. You are right where you need to be. Everything that has led you to this moment has a purpose. Even the things you do not understand yet are being woven into something beautiful. The peace of Christ is not coming from somewhere outside of you. It is already within you, waiting to be remembered. It is not missing. It is resting inside the quiet space of your faith. If your mind starts to wander, gently bring it back to the stillness. Picture Jesus standing before you with open arms. His eyes are full of compassion. His voice is soft and familiar. You hear Him say, "Let it go. Trust me. I have always been guiding you." Those words are simple, but they carry the weight of eternity. In His presence, you realize that everything you thought you lost was never really gone. It was being transformed. You might not see the path ahead clearly, but that is okay. Faith does not require sight. It requires trust. When you stop trying to see the whole picture, you make space for God to paint something new. When you stop trying to rush the process, you make room for His timing to reveal itself. The delays, the detours, even the silence, all have meaning. Take another slow breath and feel the quiet inside you growing stronger. It is no longer just silence. It is peace. It is the peace that comes from surrender. The kind that whispers, "It's all right." The kind that stays even when the world changes. The kind that reminds you that you are never alone. If you could see what heaven sees, you would not worry. You would know that every season, every challenge, every unanswered prayer is part of a story that ends in redemption. You would see that Jesus has been walking beside you through it all, guiding your steps, catching your tears, holding your hand, even when you didn't notice. You are safe in His will. You can trust His plan. Even now, as you rest, He is working on things you cannot see. The peace you feel tonight is not fragile. It is eternal. It is the same peace that calmed the sea, that stilled the storm, that flowed from the heart of the Savior who gave His life out of love for you. Before you drift to sleep, whisper softly, "Lord, I surrender. Let your will be done in my life. I I trust you with everything I do not understand. Teach me to rest in your peace. Then let silence take over. Let his love fill the room. Let your body relax, your thoughts slow, and your spirit settle into calm. The world is quiet now. Your heart is steady. Jesus is here. His peace is not going anywhere. It lives within you, eternal, unbreakable, and real. Sleep now in that peace. Sleep knowing that you are exactly where God wants you to be. Sleep knowing that the one who holds the stars also holds you. You can rest in his will. You can rest in his love. You can rest in his peace. There is something mysterious that happens while we sleep. The world grows quiet, the body rests, and yet, in the hidden places of the spirit, life continues to move. God works in silence, restoring what the day has taken. You may not see it, but every night that you close your eyes and place your trust in him, something inside you begins to heal. Your soul does not fall asleep. It awakens. The world often tells us that sleep is simply for the body, a way to recover strength and energy. But for those who walk with Jesus, rest becomes something much more sacred. It becomes communion. It becomes a meeting place between heaven and the heart. When the mind lets go of control, when words fade into quiet, that is when the Spirit begins to speak. You might not hear his voice with your ears, but you will feel it. It is the stillness that settles into your chest, the warmth that replaces anxiety, the peace that you cannot explain. As you lie here tonight, let yourself imagine that your soul is rising gently, not away from your body, but deeper into light. You are surrounded by the presence of Christ. His light is not bright in a way that blinds. It is soft, golden, and warm. It feels like a sunrise, slowly unfolding inside you. This light reaches every part of your being, from your mind that has been full of thought, to your heart that has been carrying hidden burdens. It touches everything and transforms it. You begin to sense that the parts of you that felt numb are waking up again. The corners of your soul that were covered in shadows are now being filled with radiance. The weight that once sat quietly on your chest is melting away, replaced by a sense of freedom that you did not realize you could feel. It is not just relief, it is renewal. It is God breathing life into your spirit while the rest of the world sleeps. There is a kind of prayer that does not use words. It happens in the silence between heartbeats, in the rhythm of slow breathing, in the peace of knowing you are not alone. That is the prayer of the soul while you rest. Tonight, as your body releases its tension and your thoughts begin to drift, your spirit is praying. Not for anything specific, but for connection, for closeness, for peace. You can imagine Jesus near you now, not far above, but right beside you. He does not speak at first. He simply looks at you with eyes that hold all of eternity and all of love. You can sense his joy that you have chosen to rest, that you have finally let go of everything you were holding. The world cannot see this moment, but heaven can. The angels rejoice when a heart finds peace in the presence of its Creator. You may wonder what happens in the soul while the body sleeps. The answer is simple but profound. Healing happens. Renewal happens. Transformation happens. The Spirit of God moves through your inner being like a river, washing away fear, restoring strength, filling emptiness with love. While your mind drifts into dreams, your heart is learning to trust again. The parts of you that were tired from trying are being reminded that you are not meant to carry life alone. In this stillness, Jesus works quietly. He gathers every broken piece of you, not to judge it, but to make it whole again. He looks at what the world might call weakness and calls it beautiful. He looks at what you call failure and calls it grace. His voice in the silence tells your soul, "You are mine. I am making all things new." Think of how the earth rests at night. The flowers close, the wind slows, the stars appear. Everything pauses, not to end, but to prepare for renewal. In the same way, your soul pauses now, resting in the presence of its Maker. You are being prepared for a new dawn, not just the one that comes with morning light, but the one that begins inside your heart. That is what happens when God touches your soul while you rest. He plants seeds of calm, of faith, of love. You do not have to understand it for it to be real. You just have to receive it. His Spirit moves beyond thought. It moves in the language of light and love. It speaks directly to who you are, beneath everything the world has tried to make you believe about yourself. If you have been feeling spiritually tired, know this: even your soul can rest in Jesus. You do not have to be constantly praying or striving to stay close to Him. Sometimes the holiest prayer is the quiet surrender that says, "Lord, I am here. I rest in you." That is worship too. That is love returned to the one who gave it first. As you continue to rest, feel how light your body has become. The peace of God has settled into your breath, into your heartbeat, into the rhythm of your dreams. Every breath carries His presence deeper into you. Every heartbeat echoes His love. Even as you drift further into sleep, your spirit remains awake in Him. It is listening. It is receiving. It is being renewed. Maybe tomorrow will still bring challenges. Maybe there will still be things to face. But something will be different. You will be different. Because tonight, God is writing peace into the foundation of your soul. He is erasing the weight of fear and replacing it with faith. He is teaching you to live not from worry, but from rest. When morning comes and your eyes open to the light of a new day, you will not just wake up physically refreshed. You will wake up spiritually alive. You will feel lighter, stronger, quieter on the inside. The world might look the same, but your heart will see differently. You will notice grace in places you used to overlook it. You will hear hope in the sounds of ordinary things. You will carry peace not as a fleeting feeling, but as your new way of being. This is what happens when you surrender your nights to Jesus. He takes your rest and turns it into restoration. He takes your stillness and fills it with His Spirit. He takes your sleep and transforms it into worship. You do not have to be awake to be close to Him. You only have to be willing to rest in His presence. So as this night deepens, allow yourself to drift. Let your body go heavy and your spirit go free. You are safe. You are loved. You are being renewed by the same hands that shaped the stars and set the oceans in motion. You do not have to try anymore. You do not have to prove anything. You only have to rest. The peace you feel right now is not a temporary emotion. It is the presence of God within you. It will not fade when morning comes. It will grow. It will carry you into tomorrow and remind you that even when the world feels uncertain, the one who holds you never changes. His love is constant. His peace is eternal. Sleep now in that truth. Let your spirit rise in light. Let your soul awaken in His love. Rest deeply, knowing that while you sleep, heaven sings over you. Jesus is here, healing you, renewing you, and preparing you for the dawn that is already waiting beyond the horizon. There is a quiet kind of gratitude that doesn't need words. It lives in the heart, in the spaces between breaths, in the awareness that somehow, even after everything, you are still here. Gratitude is not always loud. It doesn't always come with shouting or song. Sometimes it appears softly, like a whisper rising from the soul that finally understands how loved it has always been. Tonight, as you rest in the peace of God, let gratitude rise within you, not as a duty, but as a natural response to His presence. You do not need to make a list of reasons to be thankful. You simply have to notice them. The fact that you are breathing right now, that your heart is still beating, that your story is still unfolding, that you have been held through every moment you thought you would not survive. Those are reasons enough. Every second of your life has been touched by grace, even the ones you did not recognize at the time. Think back for a moment to the times you were uncertain, when you thought you would not find a way forward. Somehow, you did. That was not an accident. That was God's mercy. Think of the moments when you felt alone, and yet comfort appeared out of nowhere, maybe through a kind word, a friend, a quiet sunrise, or a verse that spoke to you when you needed it most. Those moments were His way of saying, I have never left you. Gratitude begins there, in remembering. As you breathe slowly, let those memories wash over you. Let them fill you with warmth and peace. Gratitude has a way of transforming the heart. It takes the weight of the past and turns it into something sacred. It reminds you that even the hardest days had purpose. It reveals that God was weaving beauty through every detail, even when you could not see it. Now imagine yourself lying in complete stillness. The night is silent, but you can feel something alive inside you, something glowing quietly. It is the awareness of God's goodness. You can almost feel it surrounding you, wrapping around your body like a soft blanket. You realize that even this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, is a gift.
Gratitude becomes more than a thought. It becomes a feeling that fills every part of you.
You may whisper softly, "Thank you, Lord." And as you do, you will notice that your heart begins to respond. It beats a little slower, more at peace, more in rhythm with His love. You are not thanking Him out of obligation. You are thanking Him because you can feel His presence here. Gratitude is not a rule. It is a relationship. It is your soul recognizing the one who sustains it. The psalmist once wrote, "I will praise you, O Lord, with my whole heart. I will tell of all your marvelous works." But not all praise is spoken aloud. Some praise is silent. It happens when your heart rests in peace, when your mind lets go of fear, when your spirit breathes freely in the presence of its Creator. That is what tonight is. Silent praise. You may not be singing, but your stillness is worship. You may not be speaking, but your rest is a prayer. Even as you lie here, motionless, your soul is alive with gratitude. Every inhale says, "Thank you for this breath." Every exhale says, "I trust you with what comes next." Your very being becomes an offering of thanks, and that is the most beautiful kind of worship. The kind that doesn't seek attention, the kind that happens in secret between you and God. Gratitude also has a way of healing. It shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present, from what went wrong to what has been redeemed. It softens the edges of worry and opens space for peace to settle in.
The more thankful you become, the more you realize that you are surrounded by grace. Even now, in this quiet night, grace is here. It is in the calm that fills your room.
It is in the warmth that covers you. It is in the awareness that no matter where you are in life, you are loved completely by the one who created you. There is something holy about being grateful in the dark. It is easy to give thanks when everything is clear and bright, but it is sacred to give thanks in the stillness of the unknown. That is the kind of gratitude that builds unshakable faith. It is the kind that whispers, "I do not need to see the path to trust the guide." It is the kind that says, "Even here, I will thank you." As you lie quietly, let your gratitude turn into worship. Not the kind that demands words or melodies, but the kind that simply opens the heart. You can feel it now, a gentle warmth in your chest, a sense of connection to something greater than yourself. That is the presence of God. That is the Holy Spirit breathing through you, reminding you that your gratitude is heard, even when it is silent. If you listen closely, you might even sense a response, not in sound, but in feeling. It is as if heaven itself leans closer when a grateful heart begins to rest. The peace grows deeper. The silence feels alive. You can almost feel the heartbeat of creation pulsing in harmony with your own. Everything that exists is held together by the love of God, and you are part of that harmony. You can whisper again, quietly and sincerely, "Thank you, Lord. Thank you for this peace. Thank you for your mercy. Thank you for staying with me through every season." Each word becomes like a drop of light falling into your soul, illuminating the dark corners, replacing worry with trust. Gratitude and peace begin to blend together until they are no longer separate. They become one. They become the sound of your spirit resting in God. You might start to realize that gratitude is not only something you feel for what God has done, but for who He is. You thank Him not just because He provides, but because He is love itself. You thank Him because even when life changes, He remains the same. His faithfulness is your foundation. His grace your refuge, His presence your comfort. Let that truth rest in you. Gratitude is not an emotion that comes and goes. It is a state of the soul. It is the natural language of someone who has seen God's goodness and knows that it will never run out. Now, as your body grows heavier and your mind begins to quiet completely, imagine that every breath you take is a song of thanks, every heartbeat, a prayer of praise. You are surrounded by peace. You are surrounded by love. You are surrounded by the steady presence of God. In the stillness, your gratitude rises like incense before Him. You are not alone in this night. Heaven hears you. Jesus is near, smiling softly, receiving every unspoken thank you as worship. Let your last thoughts tonight be gentle ones. Think of His goodness. Think of His patience. Think of how far He has brought you. Think of the love that has never left your side. Let gratitude be the bridge between this day and the next. As you drift into sleep, your spirit continues to sing, though no sound is heard. It is the song of a soul at peace, a soul that knows it is safe, loved, and protected. The language of heaven is gratitude, and tonight you are speaking it perfectly. Rest in that truth. Rest in that love. Rest in silent praise. Sleep now with a thankful heart. Sleep in His peace. Sleep in the arms of grace. When peace has done its quiet work inside the soul, something beautiful begins to awaken. It is not loud or sudden. It rises gently, the way a seed breaks through the earth after a long winter. The stillness of the night gives birth to strength. The same silence that held you is now filling you. What was once fragile is becoming firm again. God is breathing courage back into you, not the restless kind that tries to prove something, but the calm confidence that comes from knowing you are loved and sustained by Him. You have been through seasons that drained your energy. You have faced moments where hope felt far away, where it took everything just to keep going. Yet here you are, resting in peace, still held by grace. That itself is evidence of God's power within you. Strength in His kingdom does not always look like movement or noise. Sometimes, it is simply the ability to remain, to keep faith when nothing makes sense, to whisper His name when words fail. That kind of strength cannot be learned from the world. It is planted by the Spirit. Isaiah once wrote, "Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not grow weary. They shall walk and not faint." Those words are not only poetry, they are a spiritual law. Waiting on the Lord is not wasted time. It is preparation. It is restoration. It is the gathering of divine energy that will soon carry you forward again. Tonight, while your body rests, your spirit is being renewed exactly in that way. God is restoring what life has drained. He is giving you new wings, not for escape, but for endurance. This renewal does not rush you. It does not demand immediate action. It begins with awareness. You start to feel a quiet strength returning, as if the foundation beneath your heart has grown thicker and more stable. You realize that the peace you received during the night was not just to comfort you, but to prepare you. Rest is never the end of the story. It is the sacred pause before the next chapter begins.
When morning comes, you will not wake the same. You will rise with purpose, not anxiety. The difference is subtle, but profound.
Purpose is not about having every plan in place. It is about walking in alignment with God's love, trusting that your steps are guided even when the path is still hidden. The peace that God has written into you tonight will follow you into everything you do. It will color your words, your reactions, and even your silence. Strength, when it comes from Him, feels different. It does not create pressure, it creates freedom. You will not have to force yourself to prove your worth or earn your place. You will simply act out of love because His Spirit is alive within you. This is divine strength. It moves mountains not by pushing but by believing. It changes atmospheres not through shouting but through presence. When people see you, they will not see exhaustion anymore. They will see peace wearing your face. In this renewal, there is also clarity. The confusion that once clouded your mind begins to dissolve. You no longer feel scattered between what you should do and what you must do. You start to sense what really matters. God is simplifying your heart. He is bringing your focus back to what is true, back to what lasts. You begin to understand that your purpose has never been about achievement. It has always been about love. To love Him, to love others, to love the life He has entrusted to you. That realization changes everything. You might think about the times when you tried to find meaning in things that eventually left you empty. God never judged you for that. He simply waited for you to discover that real meaning lives in relationship with Him. The peace that fills you now is not only for rest, it is a reminder of that relationship. It is the voice of God saying, I am still here. I have never stopped calling you forward. Renewal also brings forgiveness, both giving and receiving. You find yourself releasing grudges you did not know you still held. The light that has entered your heart makes it easier to see that holding on to resentment only blocks the flow of grace. You forgive because you are free, not because the past suddenly changed. Forgiveness is the soul's declaration that it belongs to God, not to bitterness. As you release what has been heavy, your spirit grows lighter, and that lightness becomes strength. You may feel gratitude rising again. Gratitude for simple things, for the breath in your lungs, for the chance to start fresh, for the way God turns endings into beginnings. Gratitude is the fuel of renewal. It keeps the soul awake to God's goodness in every small detail. The more you notice His grace, the stronger your spirit becomes. This renewal also gives courage for the unknown. The future no longer feels threatening. You may not know what tomorrow holds, but you know who holds tomorrow. That knowledge alone becomes enough. You start to realize that faith is not pretending to have certainty. It is choosing peace, even when certainty is missing. And in that peace, strength is born again and again. Think of your heart now as a vessel being refilled. The Spirit of God is pouring into it everything that was lost: patience, hope, resilience, tenderness, clarity, joy. You can almost feel it filling you from the inside out. You do not need to strive for it or hold on to it tightly. You only need to rest in the flow of His grace. What He gives is not temporary. It will last. When the day begins, you will move through it differently. The same challenges might still exist, but they will no longer control you. Your responses will come from peace instead of panic. You will carry the presence of God like fragrance, spreading calm wherever you go. That is what true renewal looks like. It is not a burst of energy. It is a quiet transformation that makes you steady, unshaken, ready to love again. The purpose God places within you will reveal itself naturally. You do not have to chase it. As long as you stay close to Him, your steps will fall into rhythm with His will. Each act of kindness, each word of compassion, each moment of stillness will be part of your calling. You will discover that your life, just as it is already a ministry of peace. And when you feel weak again someday, remember this night. Remember that renewal always follows surrender. The God who restored you once will do it again. His strength is made perfect in weakness, and His mercy has no end. So rest now in this truth. You are renewed, you are strengthened, you are called. The same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead lives in you. That is why no darkness can hold you, no failure can define you, and no fear can stop you. You belong to light, and that light will lead you always. When peace has settled deeply within, life itself begins to look different. The same streets, the same tasks, the same faces you see each day are no longer ordinary. There is a quiet sacredness in everything. The world may not have changed, but the way you move through it has. What used to feel rushed now feels intentional. What used to cause stress now seems smaller, softer, somehow easier to carry. This is what happens when the heart begins to walk in step with the peace of God. It transforms perception before it changes circumstances. As morning light begins to rise, it touches everything with gentle clarity. You notice details that used to go unseen. The stillness in the air, the kindness in a stranger's face, the way light dances across simple things. Gratitude wakes up before your body fully does. The day is no longer something to survive. It is something to receive. It feels as though creation itself is whispering that you belong here, that this moment was prepared for you, that grace has already gone ahead to meet you. In this state of quiet renewal, you do not move by reaction anymore. You move by response, by choice, by love. The noise of the world may still be there, but it no longer decides how you feel. You begin to understand that peace is not the absence of noise. It is the presence of God within the noise. His stillness becomes your anchor, holding you steady even when life moves quickly around you. The psalmist wrote, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul." Those words were never just about landscape. They were about living under divine guidance. To be led beside still waters means to live with awareness of the shepherd's pace, to let him determine what matters and what can wait. He restores the soul not once, but again and again, every time you pause to remember his presence. When you walk through the day with that awareness, even small moments become holy. Washing your hands, preparing food, speaking kindly, listening well, all of these become acts of worship. You are no longer dividing life into sacred and ordinary. It all belongs to him. Every breath becomes prayer. every glance an opportunity to recognize the face of God reflected in those around you. This is what true communion looks like. It does not end when you wake up from rest. It continues quietly through each decision, each word, each heartbeat. Sometimes, as you move through the day, the world will try to reclaim your attention. Distractions will call, fears will whisper, and impatience will test the peace you carry. But you will notice the difference now. You will feel the tension rising before it overtakes you. You will remember that you have another choice, a better one. You can return to stillness. You can let the Spirit breathe for you again. You can let the words of Jesus echo in your mind. My peace I give to you, not as the world gives. That truth will draw you back every time. Walking in daily peace does not mean everything goes perfectly. It means you no longer lose yourself when things do not. You can pause before responding. You can forgive before resentment grows. You can find beauty in imperfection. The peace of God acts like a slow rhythm, guiding your steps, reminding you that the measure of life is not in speed, but in presence. You begin to see that grace meets you moment by moment, never too early, never too late, always exactly when you need it. This awareness changes how you see others. You start to listen more than you speak. You notice what people do not say. You offer kindness without needing to be noticed for it. Compassion flows naturally because you know what it means to be carried. You recognize the same divine fingerprints on everyone you meet. Even the difficult ones are mirrors, reflecting your own humanity, teaching patience, humility, and forgiveness. Peace does not separate you from people. It connects you to them more deeply. Why? The Spirit of God works quietly in all of it. Sometimes through gentle nudges, sometimes through a sudden clarity that feels like a thought, but comes with warmth. You begin to recognize His voice, not as something loud, but as something familiar. It feels like a deep knowing, an inner yes that carries calm with it. It never shames you, never rushes you, never confuses you. That is how you know it is Him. His voice always leads toward peace. The more you walk with that peace, the more resilient you become. You do not crumble easily. You may feel emotion, but it does not consume you. You may face difficulty, but it does not define you. The Spirit becomes your rhythm, your counselor, your breath. It is no longer about escaping from life. It is about moving through it with grace. You begin to see your purpose not as a single grand mission, but as 1,000 small acts of faithfulness. You find meaning in patience, in the words you choose, in the way you respond to pressure. You realize that the world is healed, not by great gestures alone, but by quiet hearts, carrying peace into places where chaos once lived. Every kind act is a ripple of God's kingdom moving outward. Every moment of forgiveness is a victory over darkness. Every breath of gratitude is a testimony that love still wins. When evening comes again, you will feel gratitude instead of exhaustion. The day will not feel wasted, even if it was simple. You will know that walking in peace is never small. It is the most powerful witness to the presence of God in a restless world. People may not understand what changed in you, but they will feel it. They will notice your calm. They will sense that your peace is not fragile. That is how God's light travels from heart to heart, through quiet lives that radiate grace. And so each day becomes a continuation of the night's prayer. You no longer separate rest from living or worship from action. Everything blends together under the same purpose: to love God with all your heart and to let that love reach others. Peace becomes your language, your rhythm, your identity. When you walk like that, guided by peace, you do not have to fear what lies ahead. You are no longer walking alone. The same presence that covered you in the stillness of night now walks beside you in the brightness of day. His hand is steady, his heart is near, and his peace is unending. This is what it means to walk in daily communion with God. It is not about perfection. It is about awareness. It is about remembering that every breath, every moment, every day is holy ground. As the day begins to fade and the world grows quiet once more, a familiar peace starts to return. The same presence that met you in the stillness of last night is waiting again, unchanged and faithful. You can sense that rhythm in your spirit now, the way life seems to flow between movement and rest, between giving and receiving, between being awake in the light and resting in the shadow of his wings. There is something deeply comforting about knowing that the God who guided you through the day is the same God who now watches over you in the night. Nothing has been lost between the sunrise and this hour. He has been with you through it all. Every breath you take carries a trace of his protection. You may not have noticed it while you were busy, but it was there. Every conversation, every step, every pause was covered by his grace. Even the moments that felt ordinary were filled with divine purpose. That is how God works. Quietly, steadily, faithfully, weaving mercy into every moment. And now, as the light of day softens and the evening begins to settle, that same mercy gathers around you again. It is written in Psalm 91, "He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." Those words have always carried power, but tonight they settle into your heart in a new way. To abide under the shadow of the Almighty is not simply to be protected. It is to be at peace in his nearness. It is to know that nothing can reach you without passing through his care first. It is to trust that the unseen hand that guided you through the day will now hold you safely through the night. That promise does not mean there will never be darkness.
It means that even in darkness, you are never alone. It means that God's presence is the constant in a world that changes every hour.
It means that the same love that spoke creation into existence is still speaking peace over your life now. You can rest in that truth. As night deepens, the air seems to slow down, and your spirit follows. You begin to feel gratitude rise within you once again. Gratitude for the small mercies that carried you through this day, for the strength that came when you needed it, for the patience that replaced frustration, for the light that showed up in unexpected places. Gratitude does not always sound like words. Sometimes it is just a quiet feeling in the chest, a deep knowing that you are loved and Fi. That knowing becomes your prayer tonight. It is remarkable how rest and trust are connected. True rest only comes when you trust that you are safe. God's protection is not only about what He prevents from happening, it is also about what He sustains while it happens. There were things today that could have broken your peace, but they did not. There were worries that could have grown louder, but they faded instead. That is not coincidence. That is divine covering. God has been your shield even when you did not notice the arrows passing by. When the psalmist wrote, "The Lord is my refuge and my fortress," he was describing more than safety. He was describing belonging. To call God a fortress is to say, I am home in His strength. I do not have to defend myself. I am defended. I do not have to hold the world together. It is held by Him. That is the truth that allows your heart to rest completely. Imagine that truth surrounding you like soft light. It is not distant or abstract. It is real. It is warmth that wraps around your soul. It is assurance that even as you drift into silence, your spirit remains awake in His care. You can let go of the worries that tried to follow you here. You can release what you cannot change. You can breathe freely again because nothing about this night is outside of God's reach. You may think back over the day and see moments that were not perfect. Maybe there were words you wish you had spoken differently or things you wish had gone another way. Yet even those moments are safe now. Nothing in the hands of God is wasted. He takes everything and turns it toward healing, even what you consider small mistakes. His protection includes the grace to begin again tomorrow, free from shame, full of hope. This is what it means to dwell in His secret place, not to hide from the world, but to live, knowing that you are never outside His presence. The secret place is the awareness of being loved, the inner certainty that even while the world turns and time moves forward, your soul is anchored in eternity. There is no safer place to be. You might not hear angels, but they are near. You might not see the hand that holds you, but it is steady. The night may seem silent, but it is filled with the quiet sound of divine care. The Creator of the universe is attentive to you, not as one among many, but as His beloved. You are seen, known, and protected by name. As the world outside darkens, remember that light does not vanish. It only changes form. The light of day becomes the warmth that glows in your heart. God's protection is like that. It does not always look like a wall. Sometimes it feels like peace, sometimes like patience, sometimes like the quiet assurance that everything will be all right. In this moment, you are surrounded by His faithfulness. His promises have no expiration. His love has no limit. His eyes never close. Even as your body drifts toward rest, His Spirit watches over you with unbroken care. The night is not something to fear. It is a sanctuary built for renewal. So let the evening come with its calm rhythm. Let the stars take their place in the sky. Let creation do what it was made to do: rest, renew, and worship in silence. You are part of that same sacred pattern. You are resting now not in uncertainty, but in confidence. You are held in everlasting arms. guarded by peace that cannot be shaken. If you listen quietly within, you might feel the whisper of a promise. Be still and know that I am God. Those words are the heartbeat of protection itself. They remind you that you do not have to defend yourself from life. You only have to abide in the one who already has. Tonight is not a pause between days. It is a continuation of grace. The story of your soul does not stop when you sleep. It deepens. God's protection does not clock out when your eyes grow heavy. It stands watch through every hour. And when morning returns, His mercy will meet you again, as new as the sunrise, as sure as His love. So rest now in that peace. Rest in the safety that does not fail. Rest in the hands that have carried you this far and will never let you go. You are protected. You are loved. You are home in the heart of God. There is something sacred about the hours when the world sleeps. The quiet has a depth that daytime never touches. In that stillness, when everything else fades, God moves in ways that cannot be explained by words or seen by the eyes. Night is His secret sanctuary, a space where the noise of the world is silenced and the soul can finally hear. It is in these hidden hours that heaven often comes closest, not through thunder or vision, but through gentle presence. You may not notice it, but your spirit does. It recognizes the nearness of its creator and rests more deeply because of it. The mystery of the night is that while you rest, God works. While your body sleeps, His Spirit moves quietly through your heart, repairing what has been strained, calming what has been restless, and strengthening what has been weak. He speaks in ways beyond language. He does not need to interrupt your dreams or wake you with revelation. His voice moves like light beneath the surface, touching places within you that even prayer has not reached. Many times you may have thought nothing was happening, that sleep was only an absence of thought. But in the spiritual realm, night is a workshop of grace. It is where healing takes place unseen. It is where forgiveness settles into the soil of the heart. It is where hope is rewoven into the fabric of your being. The same God who created the galaxies also uses the dark hours to create new peace within you. Think of what happens to nature while the world sleeps. There is growth that cannot be witnessed by human eyes, yet it is real, constant, and necessary. So it is with the soul. Your rest is the ground in which God plants His healing. What feels like stillness is often transformation. What seems like silence is filled with divine conversation. In this quiet mystery, God often brings to mind things you had forgotten, not in a way that disturbs your peace, but in a way that heals it. The past loses its sharp edges. Old wounds begin to close. Regret softens into wisdom. Forgiveness becomes easier. You wake with a sense of release that you cannot explain. That is God's hand at work. While you sleep, He is reshaping the contours of your heart, aligning them with His love, so that when morning comes, you carry less of yesterday and more of eternity. The night is also a place of revelation, though not always through visions or dreams. Sometimes, revelation is simply awareness, a new understanding that rises gently with the dawn. You wake up and realize that something has shifted. You feel peace about what once troubled you. You see a situation more clearly, or you feel courage where there used to be fear. These are the quiet fingerprints of God on the canvas of your soul. In Psalm 16, David wrote, "I will bless the Lord who has given me counsel. My heart also instructs me in the night seasons." Those words carry timeless truth. The night seasons are not wasted time. They are when the heart, under the Spirit's care, learns wisdom it could not hear in the noise of the day. When the mind rests, the soul listens. God does not shout to be heard. He speaks in the calm spaces you finally allow him to fill. There is beauty in knowing that even as you sleep, you are part of something eternal. The same rhythm that carries the stars across the sky carries your heartbeat through the night. You are connected to the divine order of creation, sustained, watched, and loved. The darkness is not a sign of absence. It is a different kind of light, one that invites trust. The stars shine to remind you that even in the vastness of night, you are not forgotten. Each one declares that God's promises remain. You can rest knowing that no hour escapes his attention. The same eyes that saw you when you felt invisible are watching tenderly now. The same hands that steadied you when life shook are holding you still. You are not suspended in emptiness. You are resting in love. And that love is alive, active, and creative. As your body drifts further into deep rest, imagine the Spirit of God moving like a soft current through every part of you. It washes through your thoughts, clearing away what does not belong. It moves through your heart, softening what had become hard. It moves through your soul, restoring what had been drained. There is no rush in this process. God takes his time because his work is precise. He restores with tenderness, not force. There are moments during the night when you are closer to heaven than you know. The boundaries between the seen and the unseen grow thin. In those moments, angels keep watch. Prayers rise like incense, and your spirit joins a greater chorus of peace that flows through creation. You may not hear it, but heaven sings as you rest. Each heartbeat is part of that worship, steady and pure, echoing the rhythm of divine life. When you wake again, the world may look ordinary, but something within you will have changed. You will carry the calm of the night into the noise of the day. The wisdom that God whispered in silence will guide your choices. The strength he restored in rest will carry you through new challenges. You will not even need to remember everything. Your soul remembers for you. The work of the night continues into the morning. The mystery of God's presence is that it never leaves. Whether you are aware of it or not, whether you feel it strongly or only faintly, it remains constant. It watches while you rest. It moves while you wait. It heals while you sleep. Nothing about the darkness can diminish it. You are safe in that mystery. You are known in that silence. You are loved in that stillness. Every night becomes sacred, because every night is held by the same hands that shaped the universe and called it good. Those hands are still shaping you, still calling you good, still working for your good. So when sleep comes again, let it be an act of faith. You are not disappearing into nothingness. You are resting in divine presence. The night is not an interruption of life. It is part of the sacred rhythm of being.
God works in the dark just as powerfully as in the light, perhaps even more so, because that is when you finally stop trying and let Him be God. Rest in that holy mystery. Trust it.
You are seen. You are safe. You are being renewed, even now. As night unfolds and the earth grows still, a quiet love spreads across creation. It is the love of Christ, moving silently like light that has no source and no end. It reaches every corner of the world, crossing oceans, mountains, and cities without effort. It fills empty rooms, lonely hearts, and weary minds. While the world sleeps, this love does not rebuke. Saint, it moves. It comforts. It surrounds. The same love that once walked among us still walks now, unseen yet unending, holding everything together with a tenderness that words can only begin to describe. There is a deep calm that descends upon the world in these hours, and beneath that calm lies something sacred. You can almost feel the rhythm of countless prayers rising from every part of the earth. Some are spoken softly by those who cannot sleep. Others are whispered from hospital rooms, quiet bedrooms, or distant places where pain has not yet lifted. And yet all of them rise into the same presence, drawn together by the Spirit who understands every language of the heart. Heaven bends low to listen. The night becomes a cathedral without walls, and Christ Himself stands at the center, gathering every word, every tear, every sigh, and turning them into peace. If you could see what heaven sees, you would not call this time empty. You would see light upon light, souls resting under divine care, angels moving through the quiet like gentle wind, carrying hope to those who need it most. You would see God's love covering homes, watching over children as they sleep, comforting parents who worry, and guarding the hearts of those who pray in silence. Every room where someone breathes becomes holy ground. Every sleeping body is wrapped in grace. The love of Christ does not stop at the faithful. It flows over all creation, reaching even those who do not yet know they are loved. It touches people lost in confusion. It comforts those who doubt. It calls gently to those who feel far away. It never forces, never demands, never withdraws. It waits patiently, always near, always ready to heal. That is the miracle of divine love. It is not limited by belief or behavior, or it exists simply because God is love, and love cannot contradict itself. When the world sleeps, human plans fade, and the pride of the day loses its noise. That is when love does its deepest work. It softens hearts that were hardened. It heals wounds that were buried. It renews strength in those who felt forgotten. In these hidden hours, God repairs the fabric of humanity one soul at a time. You may think you are alone in the night, but you are part of a vast symphony of renewal. Every act of grace, every breath of prayer, every heartbeat of faith contributes to that harmony. Imagine the cities below you as if you could see them from the sky. Streets dimly lit, windows glowing softly, rivers of light winding through the dark. Within those lights are lives, stories full of hope, fear, laughter, loss, and dreams. And over all of them, unseen yet absolute, rests the love of Christ. It is the invisible atmosphere of mercy, the quiet shield that holds back despair, the breath of life that sustains every moment. Even in the stillness, the world is alive with divine presence. Sometimes you may forget that the love of God is not limited to personal peace. It is cosmic. It is the very heartbeat of creation. Every star that burns, every tide that moves, every tree that grows, is an echo of that same love. The universe itself is an expression of divine affection, expanding endlessly, because love itself has no boundary. And yet, that infinite love is not distant. It is here, right where you are, closer than your breath, resting gently over you like a warm blanket. The same force that sustains galaxies sustains your soul. Think for a moment of how this love connects everyone. Somewhere tonight, a person is praying for someone they have never met. Somewhere else, a heart is being comforted without knowing why. A child is smiling in a dream. A weary soul is finding rest. All of it happens under the same love, under the same grace. God is weaving lives together, drawing hearts closer, healing wounds unseen. The night becomes a tapestry of mercy, and Christ is the thread that holds it all. You are part of that tapestry. Your peace adds to it. Your prayers strengthen it. Your quiet trust becomes light for someone else who cannot yet find their way. When you rest in God's love, you are not only healed, you become a source of healing. The Spirit that comforts you tonight will comfort others through you tomorrow. That is how divine love multiplies. It does not stay contained. It flows, always outward, always giving. The love of Christ is not limited by distance or time. It flows beyond human boundaries, beyond fear and pain. It touches even those who have stopped believing, reminding them that faith is not what keeps love alive. Love is what keeps faith possible. It carries hope through generations, whispering the same message to every soul. You are not forgotten. You are seen. You are loved. If you listen quietly, you can sense that love even now. It moves through the air like a heartbeat of creation, steady and faithful. It carries peace to the restless, comfort to the grieving, and strength to the weary. It fills the world with invisible light. And somehow, even though the night is vast, you are not lost in it. You are known personally by the one who holds it all. His love has your name on it. His care is detailed. His protection is precise. The night is not only for sleep, it is for communion. It is for remembering that the same Jesus who once walked among us still walks now through every home, every hospital, every lonely place. His Spirit fills the silence with companionship. His heart keeps watch when ours grow tired. His love does not need sunlight to shine. It glows softly through the dark, constant as the stars, gentle as the breeze, eternal as the promise of redemption itself. And so the world turns again under his mercy. Nations sleep, Oceans move, hearts dream, and love remains. It is written across every life, every breath, every prayer that rises into the night sky. The love of Christ never ceases. It never withdraws. It never forgets. Rest tonight knowing this. Even when you do nothing at all, you are held within that love. The world continues, sustained by grace, wrapped in light, watched by the eternal heart of God. His love covers you, covers your home, covers every soul that breath is. And while the night deepens and the stars take their watch, heaven whispers softly, "All is well, all is loved, all is held in me." The long night begins to fade, and what once was silent starts to hum softly with new life. The stillness that surrounded you becomes something alive, something sacred. It is no longer the weight of the night, but the calm of peace settling into its final form. Everything feels slower now, quieter, more open. The Spirit of God has done what only He can do. The storms that echoed inside you have ceased, not because they were silenced from outside, but because His voice spoke peace into your soul. You can feel that calm now, spreading through every corner of your being. It is not fragile, it is firm, as if made from the breath of heaven itself. This is the holy transition, the space between night and morning. The world is not yet awake, but creation is beginning to stir. The trees seem to breathe with you, and the wind whispers softly across the earth. It feels as though all of nature is praying, as though the entire world is sighing with gratitude for another day of life. You are part of that prayer. You are not separate from the world God created. You belong within it, renewed by the same love that sustains every sunrise. As your heart rests in this peace, you can sense how much has changed since the night began. The worries that once filled your thoughts have been surrendered into the care of God. The pain that once echoed in your heart has found a place to rest. You did not have to solve anything for this to happen. It happened because you allowed yourself to be still long enough for God to move. His Spirit has worked quietly, gently, completely. The silence was never empty. It was full of His hands at work, restoring and renewing what the day had taken. And now, the first light begins to touch the horizon. It is faint at first, a soft blush against the sky, but it grows slowly, faithfully, as though heaven itself is painting a promise on the edge of the earth. That light does not rush. It waits for you. It arrives with grace, not urgency, because divine timing is never hurried. This is the same light that once broke through the darkness of the tomb. The same power that raised Christ from death now rises again quietly within you, declaring that every ending can become a beginning, that every darkness eventually meets the dawn. In this light, the world looks gentle again. Even the memories that once brought pain feel softened, transformed by understanding. God does not erase your story. He redeems it. The things that once made you ache now remind you of how far His love has carried you. You can see beauty where there used to be confusion. You can see purpose where there used to be fear. That is the work of the night completed, not forgetting but transforming. The night was not wasted, it was sacred. It was a sanctuary where heaven came near, and taught your soul to trust again. Every moment you spent resting became a silent prayer. Every breath an act of faith. Every tear a seed of hope. Now, as the light spreads across the sky, you are witnessing the harvest of that faith. You are alive to grace again. You are awake in the deepest sense of the word. God's renewal does not come in loud miracles. It comes in gentle awakenings like this one. It comes in the awareness that you are safe, loved, and guided. It comes in the peace that stays with you long after the prayer has ended. It comes when you realize that you no longer have to strive to feel close to Him, because He has never been far. His presence is not a moment to chase. It is a reality that holds you every second of your existence. You may hear the first sounds of the morning now, the faint rustle of leaves, the distant call of birds, the quiet hum of life returning. These sounds are part of the same symphony that your soul has been resting in all night. They are not intrusions. They are continuation. The peace of God that held you in the dark now extends into the light. What began as rest becomes renewal. What began in silence now becomes praise. There is something miraculous about how God makes all things new without you even noticing it. You simply wake and realize that the weight is gone, the fear has loosened, and hope has found its way back into your spirit. That is resurrection in its quietest form. The same Christ who conquered death now conquers despair within you. He speaks life into your thoughts, warmth into your heart, and purpose into your day. Soon the world outside will awaken, and you will join it, but you will not rise the same. The peace that filled this night will rise with you. The calm you received will shape the way you see, speak, and move. You will notice grace where others see routine. You will carry compassion where there used to be worry. You will become a living reflection of the quiet love that renewed you here. If your eyes open to light, let them open with gratitude, and if they remain closed a little longer, let them rest in the same trust that has carried you through every hour of this night. Either way, you are safe. Either way, you are loved. Either way, you are surrounded by the same faithful presence that began this journey and now brings it to completion. The Lord who guided you through the shadows will walk beside you in the day. His protection will remain. His voice will still be gentle. His peace will still be your foundation. Every breath you take will be a continuation of the grace that began here. You are whole. You are strong. You are deeply loved by the one who made you, by the one who stayed, by the one who will never leave. And as morning light finally fills the sky, the truth stands eternal. God has been faithful. He was faithful when you were weary. He was faithful when you doubted, and He is faithful now as you awaken renewed. You can rise without fear, because the same God who watched over you through the night will be your strength through the day. Let this peace remain with you. Let this love guide you. Let this light define you. The night has passed, but its gifts endure. You carry them now, healing, peace, and the quiet assurance that you are held in divine hands. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May His face shine upon you and bring you peace. May His presence go before you in every moment of your life. The night is complete. The work of God is fulfilled. The dawn of renewal has come. All is calm. All is light. All is love. All is God.